My name is Tyler Smith. I work as the Director of Athletic Training Services for Olympic sports at Boise State University. Specifically, over the course of the years, I've worked with men's basketball and track and field kind of exclusively over the last 20 years. So I've gone back and forth between those two sports. And then I'm also a certified sports nutritionist and a strength and conditioning specialist. So I'm very much so invested in not only the student athletes, but the entire sports performance health and wellness model, all the different pillars, whether it's mental health, nutrition, or strength conditioning, and as well as sports medicine as how we can make our athletes better, kind of how that all around athlete makes for a better performance on the court, the field, or anywhere, and as well as just the general wellness of the student athlete or the athletes that I work with, trying to optimize both how they feel on and off their performance fields. I'm also big into podcasts. I do some side stuff as far as fitness, coaching, and nutrition, and so I listen to a large majority of fitness podcasts, and I actually found a fitness podcast that was talking about some of your research that they had stumbled across as far as cooling technology and performance outcomes and how it increased a percentage of their performance that they were doing. And when you're in the collegiate setting, specifically when you're looking at high levels, you have athletes that you're always trying to squeeze that extra 5 to 10% of performance out. Kind of gives you an edge compared to those who are you're competing against. And that really piqued my interest, like trying to find different ways that I can help my athletes be a better version of themselves. So I kind of heard that on the podcast, and then I just started digging and looking into it. I found your guys' website and then just kind of contacted you because I wasn't sure the availability, what it looked like, but just to gather some more information because, like I said, I'm always looking for trying the next new thing to make my athletes better and to increase performance. And so that's kind of how I stumbled across you guys. So the way we've been able to implement is on a couple different things, and I think it works on a couple different levels, which is really nice. The first thing that we started to do is implemented it during workouts, kind of both after the initial warm-up phase. In track and field, they're really big on warming up and then kind of doing like dynamic stretches before you go into what we consider the workouts. So you have a little buffer time, so we were able to utilize the mitt 2 to 3 minutes in there. And then depending on the workout, we were able to have them do a rep and then take as little as 30 seconds to a couple 2 or 3 minutes in between reps for the Coolmitt to like kind of to work it and cool the body, and then have them jump back out there. And then probably our biggest asset, or where I've heard the best feedback for our student athletes, is post-workout. Try to get in that parasympathetic state as quick as possible, and especially in like heat when you're out at track, you can be in some pretty hot conditions. So any way to cool the body is great, one, but two, a lot of our people have multiple events, so it's better to get them cooled, recovered, and back ready to go for their next event in the next hour or half an hour, whatever they're doing. It really becomes part of the process of getting ready both mentally and physically for your next competition. I found it incredibly easy to use both daily and at events. The portability is very nice. It's something that I can just give to my student athletes. And they get a lot of good feedback because it's easy to use. You just click it on, put your hand on there, and then they are able to kind of use it. And it's nice because it's customizable. They can use it as much or as little, and they kind of play with those time frames. And then report feedback to me, and whether it's 30 seconds, like you said, up to minutes, and they can kind of customize it for themselves. As far as I think it works best for me if I use it for 2 minutes. So they'll kind of customize within both their workouts or their competitions how long they use it and when they use it. So that's another nice part is the kind of the mobility or the ability to shift it to your individual athletes and different events has been really nice. I think one of the biggest anecdotal or a story was from our national champion last year in the 800 meter. She was very religious with how she used it, but she also talked a lot about the benefits of obviously cooling, but the benefits to her was she incorporated it as part of her routine, meaning
Hmm.
that in addition to the body core temperature, we really worked through once you get on the mitt the parameters of what puts you back in the parasympathetic state, and it was as much as a cooling apparatus, a mental reminder for her to start controlling her breathing, to try to relax and try to get herself while your body physiologically is cooling itself down, mentally getting yourself back to that state and assisting that process. And she said that was able to help her kind of recover faster, mentally move on, and then get ready for the next event or the next competition. And so she used it routinely every time we did any sort of workout, any sort of anything, and built it into just her natural routine throughout the course of the day or for track and field in general. I mean, we've tried to expand it because we've had a lot of great feedback from our student athletes. And in the track and field world, like as soon as you get something, everyone else wants to know where you got it. How did you get this advantage? And I think that's one thing that I laughed a lot about at nationals. There were a lot of people because as soon as she finished her race, she would meet me. I'd have the apparatus. She'd put it on her shoulder, put her hand into it, even when she was going into media. And it made me laugh a lot because people would be kind of looking and pointing and like, where'd she get that? What is that? Why do my athletes not have that? So it was really cool that that technology spreads, but also that we're helping the student athletes with their performance.